Hey guys, it's Quills, and I don't know if you guys remember that drawing from Minecraft video, but I've always kind of wanted to make a sequel regarding interior referencing another art rendering. Listen, I need to justify this hyperfixation, okay? Because my boyfriend and I found an amazing mod pack and we've been playing for it on weeks on end. So I thought this would be a really perfect time to show off my biggest procrastination so far on using the screenshots as concept art referencing, you know, like last time. So to start off, I'm just gonna be a good little host and give you guys a quick tour, okay? That's me. Yeah, I tried really hard to incorporate my quills into like the Minecraft skins, but I couldn't really think of anything, so I kind of just stuck an echidna on my head because, you know, they got little spikes. Anyway, this is my house, kind of. So this is how it looks. It's really pretty, don't mind him. This is like the main build that I kind of wanted it to look like a cozy cabin, but with this mod pack, it's just a lot more heavier than I thought, so I kind of just needed some extra space, so of course I made a tower. I tried to cover it with flowers. It's really pretty. I really tried to decorate this one. I'm usually not for like Minecraft building. I'm usually the more explory type, but I think I just really wanted to try hard with this build because we're just gonna be in this Minecraft world for very long. This is my little waystone. As you could tell, I've found a lot of things and I decorated it with a cute little skeleton and that pumpkin. Amazing, I know. Got cute little flowers. I don't know how I feel about this tour because I feel like I'm just showing you guys everything in my subconscious, but you know what? This is just how I be. I really tried to decorate with some of these decoration mods, but some of them oh well, I really tried, okay? This is my little farm. It's just a little guy, I know. I tried really hard with some of these like cooking mods because they just incorporate so many fucking plants, so I really tried to just, you know, put them all inside this little farm, but it's kind of hard considering there's just a lot of them and I couldn't really think of it where else to put the nether wart, so I guess it's just there too. Over here I have the Twilight Forest mod portal thing. I feel like everyone and their mom already knows about the Twilight Forest mod, but in case you didn't know, you have to make like a little ring, throw a diamond into some pool of water, and it makes a little dimensional portal. We actually didn't go in it yet just because, I mean, I've done my fair share of mod packs in the past and Twilight Forest is still unfinished, so I'm really not keen on redoing it for like the 7th time, but we have it ready for whenever I want to do that. Over here I have like a little chicken coop. There's not really much to do. I added a couple of like little nests so that the eggs can actually go somewhere and not just, you know, crowd. I forgot to mention that there's, you know, a shaders pack and it's fucking beautiful, okay? God, it is gorgeous. Look at that. I love the water. Here I have my little like animal farm. I've made my fair share of animal farms, but I think this is like a really good one because it doesn't look too ugly. I don't know. I love how it kind of just resembles like big fairy rings, and I made it so that I could easily just access it without having to damage or like open any gates to any of the animals. Look at them, they're so happy. They don't know they're in captivity at all. There is the market that we have for one of the other mod packs that just gives you a bunch of seeds, which is really helpful because it seems like at least some of them have to do with nature and I have to collect seeds, but not with that guy around. Here, it's part of another mod. I think it's like Corel's tombstone or something, Corel. But we have some tombstones here that we could draw magic from and pray to, so that's really handy. I got a little gravesite near my animals, you know, just to assert dominance, I guess. And then we're going back to my house. I have some cool abilities from some of my baubles that I have in my little character. I get to like jump a lot and that's really cute. So here we have the cute little house. I love that you can kind of like push these. I don't know, I think that's really cute. Anyway, so this is kind of the entrance and it's kind of a mess, but whatever. I learned that there's like this cute little book stack from one of the magic mod packs and I thought that's really cute, so I kind of just strewn everything about. Here is my like kind of functional kitchen. I've tried really hard to kind of make it cute, but because it's Minecraft, everything still has to be functional, so we got a shit ton of food, a lot of like weird storage. Everything has to be storage in Minecraft because you know how it be. I have still a lot of storage, and I got this knife for my cute little cutting board. This is like a good mix of a lot of the cooking mods because there's cooking for blockheads and also like furniture mods and farmer's delight, and it's just a big hodgepodge of them, and I kind of fuck with it because it's really funny. Okay, one of the weirdest quests that this mod pack had me do was to stick one of my cows in a jar using an anvil and kind of just crush them down into it, so now we have an infinite jar of milk, and I don't really know how I feel about it, so I kind of just relegated him to the top of the fridge and just ignored it. I added some cute little stools. I tried really hard to like recreate, I don't know if you guys can tell that I'm Asian, but a lot of my like Asian families have these big wooden ornate like china cabinets, and I kind of tried to recreate that, but I don't know how I feel about this. These are cabinets that I kind of can fill with stuff. I don't know what to fill it with, honestly. I have a little grandfather clock that's not ticking because we had to disable that because it was fucking loud and annoying. Got a little bear trophy. Obviously, for authenticity, I had to have a cookie jar that's too high for me to reach. Got a little trash can. I made this like sprawl of a dining table because I thought that'd be really cute. It makes it look a little more lived in and cozy, which is what I vibe with. I have, you know, the salmon ceiling light. I was trying to search for a book, and in doing so, I kind of just pushed all of the books to like the top. I kind of like try to spread it out, especially with the decorating mods. You can actually visually look at the books and where they are. And I kind of just made a mess of it, so I kind of need to clean that up. There's a little anvil that I left here by accident, I guess. And here's kind of like the living room area, I would say. But like, you guys know Minecraft, right? Every single Minecraft world, I swear, you try to make a cute house, but you just have to fill that fucker with like all of the chests, you know? Like, it's not a Minecraft house if you don't have like 50 chests that are all disorganized. And I try really hard to fight back on it, but with the amount of mods in this mod pack, it is so hard to like gather all of these cool things that I end up looting and then try to like rummage through my chests. So there's just a wall of chests over here because I don't know what to do. I got some paintings from some bosses we killed, got this little flower pot, and there's a bunch of workbenches and stuff here. I love this little painting and I think that's adorable. There's a lot more benches. I don't really know where to put them in the house, so I kind of just like stuck them in the living room and just called it a day. For one of the mod packs, you're able to like kill things and they drop like trophies, which is a little decorative thing of the thing you've killed, so I kind of just stuck a spider on there. I love this couch, but I'm gonna be real, this mod pack is big, but there's not any good coffee tables, so I kind of just used a bench as a coffee table and called it a day because all of the other tables, okay, here, actually, let me show you. Like, that's a couch, right? But when I try to put like a table in front of it, the table is like always way too high for the couch and it kind of looks awkward, so I kind of just used another like bench as a table. I tried really hard to make it look pretty, okay? God damn it. Yeah, no, all of the fucking chests, and there's even more over here. They got a little broom, got a little painting, and this is the enchanting room, but one of the mods adds this stuff and I don't really know how to deal with it, so I kind of just stuck these other things around it that are supposed to like enhance the arcana or something. I don't know. I'm trying really hard, but like, my boyfriend is trying really hard to make an automated crafting system, which is really cool and helpful, but I'm too stupid, so I kind of just, you know, need to rummage around every chest. I tried really hard, okay? Look at those item frames. So this is the upstairs, which is basically like kind of my area. I say this with kindness because I love my boyfriend, but he just likes to relegate himself into the basement in every Minecraft world we've been in, and his basement is like, I don't know what's happening here. He is doing some factory engineering level shit, and I wish I was smart enough to comprehend everything that's going on here, but I really don't. Like, he's got some iron furnaces, but then he has an energizing orb, and then we summoned a couple of guys that like to crush dust for him, and then over here he made like a weird pocket dimension. I don't know what any of this does, but I think it's really cool. I still really appreciate it, even though if I don't really know what it does. But I did make him this cup of eggnog for decoration, you know. And then deeper into the basement, we have these portals that I kind of didn't really want upstairs because I was scared of things leaking out. So I kind of just stuck it into the basement with him to deal with. And then over there is like, you know, a mine like every good person does. And then there's even more storage over here because I feel like storage of the dimension right beside the dimension portal makes sense in a way. I don't know if it does, but it does to me. And then we go upstairs and this is kind of like the bedroom. I forgot that guy is there. Oh my god, that scared me. I kind of tried my best to like decorate this too, but again, I don't really know. I like the beds at least. I tried to add curtains. I tried to make this cozy. We're like barely in this room anyway because a lot of us in this mod pack is kind of just doing stuff indoors and not really waiting for nighttime to end. I still think it's really cute and cozy. Here, I forgot what I was gonna use this room for. I'm gonna be honest. So I kind of just made it pretty over here. Here, I made like a bunch of cool armor. One of the mod packs has like really cool armor setups and I thought it'd be really interesting to like show them off because it looks really fucking cool, okay? I think there's like a bear on his shoulder. And then you go upstairs and this is my attic. I should probably like sleep, huh? Oh yeah, I also have like a really cute record player over here because I think it's really pretty, and I think with the mod pack it adds a lot more like I forgot the word. Hold up. Music discs. It's literally right there. Oh my god. I thought it'd be really pretty to like, you know, display them and then at least play a couple of them. So this is the attic. My attic is kind of like a witch's attic, I guess, because this is where I do a lot of like the magic mods. I don't know if you guys can tell, but my boyfriend kind of is the like tech person and I'm always kind of like the magic adventuring person. So this is why we've relegated ourselves to like the different parts of the house, but it comes together in the middle and I think that's cute. Yeah, so even more storage if you can believe it. The one that I'm kind of heavy on is called Iron Spells and Spellbooks. I just really like their magic system. I have played a lot of Minecraft mod packs and sometimes some of the magic systems and magic mods are just really heavy for my stupid brain, but I think Iron Spells and Spellbooks is like the most clear cut that I can think of and I really like it. The other things that I would do are like occultism where I like summon demons and stuff. There's also like Ars you know what, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that, but yeah, no, I have a lot of bookshelves over here. I have my little water cauldron, I have a cute little table, I have even more books lying on the ground if you could believe it, just because that's the aesthetic I'm going for. Over here I made like a little balcony because I feel like with this mod pack it's really annoying to like grab all my important stuff and run around the entire house to exit. Here I could kind of just like jump off my balcony too and just grab all the important stuff. It's a really cute view. You see the little farm. Not really much happens though, considering it's kind of just a weird little space, but I think it's really cute to look at all the stuff I made. Anyway, so this is like still part of the house, but then this part kind of connects higher up to the tower, and the tower I'm kind of using for, oh my god, hello. This tower I'm kind of just using for other mod pack stuff, so this is like some of my magic stuff that I need space for. Can you please leave my tower? And this is just the top of the tower where I was gonna put other stuff, but I kind of forgot what it was, so I kind of just left it up here. But I'm able to like go at the top of the mountain and kind of just like look around and stuff. And over here for occultism we have like a little area on top of this other ridge. I'm using it for like summoning spells because that's just what you need in a lot of these mod packs. But yeah, that's my world. I hope you guys enjoy the excuse that I'm going to use for a week, because this is basically where have I been for the past I don't know how many weeks. I'm just gonna take some pretty little screenshots and hopefully make some really pretty illustrations, and I'll show you guys that now. And now that we got that house tour out of the way, now I can show you my illustrations. So I wanted to do 3 just so I could show you guys a variation in how you could use these as illustrations, because the first time I kind of just copy and pasted with the color palettes and stuff, but this way I wanted to gradually show everyone a specific way you can use the Minecraft screenshots as reference. So for the first one, I did like full-on tracing. I literally traced like the background and the color scheme, but I also wanted to like throw in one of my own characters just so I could show you guys the variation and the difference between the art styles clashing. And this took me, I don't know why, I thought this would be like the easiest one to do because it's literally me tracing everything, but this speed paint like in real time took me about 2.5 hours. I don't know, I guess there was like something, I'm not gonna say within me, there was some part of me that like kept cringing at all the like very rigid designs I had to do and like lines I had to do, but I just had to stick with it because it was the art challenge. But god, this part of the challenge was like actually really hard for me to do. It was also kind of just a bit tricky having to work out the composition because I still wanted the character to pop out, but there was just so much detail in the background, especially with all the mods having a specific block and everything, and I needed to like translate it all to look kind of realistic but kind of not because it's Minecraft, you know. So I made the flower look more flowery. I made the like knives and stuff on the items look a bit more realistic, that they're dangling off a hook, and I had to make the fruits in the basket actually look like fruits and not just a bunch of pixels. The amount of cupboards, now that I think about it, like looking back, that's a lot of fucking cupboards. And now it's just making me question my Minecraft house, but you know what? My Minecraft house is useful, so that's just where I'm gonna keep it there. But yeah, no, this one was a bit tricky, especially because the character I feel like stands out way too much from the background. It doesn't really look like she fits in that world at all, which is kind of the struggle I was figuring out while illustrating this. It was just, I really tried my best, but you know, it's a challenge for a reason, and that's how I got out of it. I think next time I would have had to put like an armor frame or like even a screenshot of a person down just so I could also get the proportions of like how a human in this scale would work with the Minecraft scale. I don't know. It turned out very weird, I'm gonna be honest, but I really like how the colors came out, and it was kind of easy considering I had to color swatch everything. But even then, I feel like I was having so much problem with the colors. I don't know how to describe it. In my head, it didn't make sense, but in the screenshot, it made sense. But then I realized I had to copy from the screenshot, so I feel like it could have made more sense. I don't know how the hell to describe it, but I think this came out okay. I'm not gonna say it's perfect because you know when you're an artist and you like look back at an old piece of art and you could tell how much you were struggling from looking at this piece of art? That's me right now because I'm looking back at the footage and I'm like, yeah, I was struggling. You could see like all my scribbling and all my undo shortcuts. Like, oh, Quills was not having a great time. I also didn't realize, but I think in the background, like under the bear, there's supposed to be like a grandfather clock, and I think I kind of just blended that into the cabinet because I just didn't want to deal with it. But now we know in the behind the scenes footage. So yeah, I made this cottage witch kind of composition just because we were in the kitchen part anyway, and I wanted some character in the foreground, and I don't know, I just thought of like a cute little witch just doing stuff, but I think she came out really adorable. I kind of just came up with a random color palette based off the background. I didn't want her like popping out too much, so that's why I kind of just used random colors in the background that were already there, and I just plopped it into her. Didn't really think much about it, even though I feel like I should have. Yeah, this one came out well. So this is what happens when you basically like take a screenshot from Minecraft and trace over it. I would say like 90% tracing. This is that illustration, and I think it came out okay. So that is the first illustration done, and I still think it came out really well, even though I know damn well all of the struggling I had to do for this part. But yeah, I'm still really proud of it. I really like how it turned out. Okay, we're going to the next one. So this illustration, I would say, was like maybe 50% tracing because I still wanted to be stylized in a certain way, but I still wanted to keep the blocking and the composition about the same. So I basically blocked out like the big shapes in another layer and then kind of traced it over that and the actual screenshot. So it still kind of has the Minecraft blockiness that you would get from like playing it. I don't know why, but when I was doing the outlining for this and I was thinking of the color palette because I wanted to like have a set color palette. I didn't want this to just be completely copy and paste color palette like the last one, so I thought of an actual color palette. I don't know why. I was thinking of Hilda, like that Netflix show Hilda that's based off a graphic novel that's very good. You guys should check it out. I was thinking about that the whole time, and I thought that would be a good color scheme just because like Hilda has a very stylized composition and art focus, and I feel like it would translate really well to this just because it's also like a really cozy cottage kind of feel. So I thought it would also work well with Hilda and their like cozy cottage stuff. I don't know what is wrong with me, by the way, because in a lot of art pieces that I do, I always incorporate like a bookshelf. I guess that's just one of my favorite aesthetics. But drawing a bookshelf over and over is to me. But lo and behold, I added a bookshelf to this piece just because I wanted it. And having to translate this cabinet into like an actual cabinet, not just like a Minecraft blocky cabinet, was like one of my biggest gripes of this illustration because it was so hard. You know, cabinets are usually very ornate and decorated really well and carved with patterns and stuff, but this is Minecraft, you know? So I was like, I don't know how this cabinet is supposed to look, but it's looking, I can tell you that. Yeah, this bookshelf was just having a lot of troubles. I was also having a bit of struggle with a lot of the textures of this illustration just because with this Minecraft house, you know, 90% of the things here are wood. There's like a couple pieces that are furniture and then there's that one stone wall, but a lot of this was wood and I didn't want to just constantly use the same wood texture for a lot of it, so I kind of just had the focus of the wood on the big bookshelf and then everything else was kind of striations of a certain wood carving. I don't know. And then you got the fish up there because he had to be there. These chairs were also kind of fun to draw just because, you know, Minecraft, you got to translate it pretty well, and I think I did a pretty good job, but I feel like I could have benefited from having maybe another reference of a chair, you know, actually using a proper reference. But no, I was doing this a hard way. And I still think it came out really well. Yeah, everything is just gonna be brown for the color palette in the beginning, and then I kind of just incorporate more of the colors from Hilda as I go on. But again, I didn't want to full-on copy and paste Hilda, just like how I didn't want to full-on copy and paste Minecraft. So I think colliding these two kind of inspirations together into this one illustration did pretty well. You know, color schemes are still a bitch to me, but I think working with colors, this one came out really well. I loved how cozy it looked. I didn't really like how the plates turned out, I'm gonna be honest with you, but you know, not everyone is a big plate drawing person. I'm clearly not one of them, but I still think it came out really cute and adorable, and just, I don't know, I feel like it's really comfy. I would totally play D&D here on like a late night and yell at the DM for getting me killed, you know? So that was that illustration. Yeah, though, this is basically the middle of the illustrations between the first one being like full-on copying and tracing, and this one is like a medium, and now we're just going on to the last one. So this one is a bit odd to explain because I'm still rewriting my webcomic, fun fact, but with a lot of my webcomic stuff, it was very stylized manga slash western comics, so I kind of wanted to do the same style for this one just because my comic style was like heavily stylized, and I think that translating Minecraft would be really well. I actually did that for a couple of my webcomic pages, like I literally drew things or built stuff in Minecraft and drew it into my webcomic, so I think it'd be a really good way to showcase how I actually did it, and also just incorporating the third piece, which is what, 20% tracing? Not even. I didn't even try to trace it fully. I actually just like had the reference in the corner and just kind of drew as I go, but I still wanted to incorporate the things I should have had in the space, but I also just added a bunch more other stuff because this is like a very detailed piece. You know, to balance it out the way I did, I made sure to not use color this time because so I just kept it at like a grayscale, and I wanted to focus on like the line art and the composition and the background just because I feel like, I don't know how to describe it. It would be a really good manga panel and or coloring book page. And that's all the aesthetics I could really ask for, honestly. So I kind of just had the reference to show me the guidelines of how the room would be, especially because the roof was kind of a bit of a hassle to translate into this illustration because my roof in Minecraft is very blocky, and there's just another area of the roof cut open just so I could put stuff in under it. But that's kind of hard to describe in Minecraft, so I kind of just had an extra roof paneling, and then it goes into the triangle, and then it opens up to the walls. I don't know how to explain this, but I tried my fucking best, okay? I also realized in Minecraft I didn't have one of those wooden panels that a lot of actual attics have so that it doesn't collapse on itself, so I kind of just added that. Now that I think about it, I feel like I should add that also in Minecraft so that the room looks a bit more stylized and stuff, but whatever. Yeah, no, this illustration kind of looks like something that would just come out of my webcomic, and I really like how it turned out. I think the details look very cute. I love how it looks very lived in, like the other pieces, but this one just looks more a lot like there's totally someone living in here and it's not just a cute little illustration, you know, like it looks very lived in, especially because you could also tell, so there's some storytelling with things on the bookshelves and the potions everywhere and the maps on it. I have no idea how to translate a brewing stand and a crafting table into Minecraft, but by God, I did my best. I mean, I don't really know how like a brewing stand is. I kind of just imagine that there's like a little tower in between that you put like all the ingredients in, and then there's little tubes that go into each potion that has its own little stand. And then the crafting table, I imagine it does have, not blanket, that one fabric thing on top, and then it has a crafting square in the middle with a bunch of tools on the side of it. That's how I imagined it. Maybe I should have just taken a reference from the Minecraft movie, but I forgot how Minecraft tables work. Yeah, and then obviously I wanted to add more details to the bookshelves because I always need to have a bookshelf, don't I? And so for the coloring, because there's grayscale, I wanted to just layer in at least a bit of blocking for where the colors would be. I didn't want it to be the shadows right away just because I didn't really know how the shadows would be, first of all, so that would be the second part of the coloring. But I do really like how it came out. I think it looks adorable, and I'm gonna be honest, for the second illustration, I forgot to add a character, and I feel like I kind of need to go back and add one just so I could show how you should also be able to add a character in that kind of referencing. But for this one, I remembered to add a character, okay? So you got like a little character sitting down and reading, which I think ties in really well with the magical aesthetic of this attic, and I just think it looks adorable. But yeah, no, doing the details of this was really fun, and because I've drawn in this style a lot for my webcomic, this piece only took me about an hour and a half, which is pretty good because I feel like from the first, second, and third, it kind of just shows how comfortable I am with translating this game over the course, because the first one took forever, the second one was okay, and this one is taking me the least, and I think that kind of just shows how well I can use my skills in order to translate from this game. But guess what? I still think I did pretty well, considering like I would actually use this for probably like, not an album cover, but maybe a post, an Instagram post, I don't know. Yeah, I really like how it came out. I love all the details. I love the little sparkles in the sky that I tried to do for stars. I like the little character peeking out, and I love the darker outlines that I usually do for foreground in this art style, and I think they all came out pretty well. But I think I did this challenge again pretty well. I don't know if this was better than my first one, because as much as I liked the paintings from the first one, they were kind of just like copy and paste, and I thought that was a little bit boring. This one I actually had to like use my brain in order to put stuff together and make a decent composition and outline from my references. So I think entirely using Minecraft as a reference, 10 out of 10. It's a really good practice. It's really fun to challenge your perspective and your translations through this art style, and I think if you do want to gradually do it like I did, that's also a really fun practice if you want to do. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't mind me going back to playing Minecraft for another 2 weeks. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! You know what I would, you know what, never mind.